Singapore tops most passport rankings with visa-free access to 192 countries, yet several passports ranked below it grant you incredibly powerful rights across multiple countries, while Singapore's grants them in only one. These passport rankings are flawed, and in the next few minutes you'll learn what that metric is and the short list of citizenships that come with it. Let's start with what visa-free travel means, because the definition is narrower than you may think. By the standard Henley uses for their passport index, visa-free access is the right to enter a country for a short visit without applying for a visa in advance, usually capped at around 90 days. That also means work and long-term study are prohibited. It's a tourist window, nothing more. As we've seen on this channel and in our daily column, Europe is tightening that window. The entry-exit system, fully operational since April 2026, now logs every entry and exit biometrically and flags overstays automatically. The European Travel Information and Authorization System, or ETIAS, arrives in late 2026 and adds pre-screening for visa-exempt visitors. The 90-day Schengen cap remains. So, if the stamp only buys a visit, why does everyone treat the rankings as a freedom score? Most passport indices measure one variable and make little mention of the rest, where you can settle, whether dual citizenship is permitted, what the passport costs you in tax. None of that enters the count. That makes the visa-free number a weak measure of what a passport is worth. Take the US passport, for instance. With it, you can enter 179 destinations, near the top of the ranking, but it grants the right of residence in one single country, the United States itself. A ranking that scores it near the top is answering a question you probably weren't asking. Now, misreading a ranking is harmless until you act on it. That's when the gap between visiting and residing gets expensive. The most common mistake is trying to build a life inside a tourist allowance. Enter visa-free, leave before day 90, come back a few weeks later and repeat. Border systems catch this now. The Schengen 180-day look-back with biometric logging tallies your days no matter how often you exit. An overstay means fines, an entry ban, and/or a record that follows every future visit application on your file. The second trap is on the tax side. Some try to make every short stay enough to avoid becoming a tax resident anywhere. However, authorities in Spain, Italy, and Australia have pursued people who earned income while residing nowhere, and without a tax treaty behind you, there's no protection when a country decides to claim you. Which brings us to the passport from the beginning of this video, the one that settles its holder in 9 countries. A short list of citizenships includes the right to reside in more than one country because the issuing country belongs to a bloc that pools residence rights among its members. These supranational settlement blocs answer the "where can I settle" question that few visa-free rankings mention. The European Union is the clearest case. A citizen of any of its 27 member states can reside, work and study in all the others, and the European Economic Area extends that right to Iceland, Liechtenstein and Norway. This is freedom of movement written into EU law, which is why a Maltese or Irish passport outperforms its visa-free score. Switzerland is outside the framework, yet admits EU and EEA nationals by separate treaty, but even they need a permit beyond 3 months. The Mercosur Residence Agreement covers the largest settlement area on Earth, 16.4 million square kilometers across South America. A citizen of one member state can claim a 2-year permit in another with a clean criminal record, convert it to permanent residence, and in time, citizenship, often with preferential timelines compared to other foreigners. Then comes the Caribbean. The Organization of Eastern Caribbean States gives a national of one of its 7 protocol member states an indefinite stay stamp at another's border. Since October 2025, the reach extends further. The Caribbean community opened full free movement among Barbados, Belize, Dominica, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The right to reside, work, and stay indefinitely across all 4. Dominica has a citizenship by investment program, so a Dominican passport ranked nowhere near the top of any index now settles its holder across 9 jurisdictions, including 2 outside the OECS entirely. That's the gap between what rankings measure and what a passport can do for you in practice. Strategies like this, stacking block rights instead of chasing visa-free counts, are the kind of thing investor and entrepreneur members inside IMI Sovereigns discuss every day. The citizenship catalogue inside maps every path to citizenship across 195 countries if you want to see which blocks and countries you could realistically enter. Link and a founding member discount are in the description. Now, 2 blocks grant full settlement rights with no realistic entry point. Dead ends, in other words. Gulf Corporation Council nationals reside and work across the member states without permits, yet a foreigner almost never naturalizes in one. The Compact of Free Association gives its Pacific members U.S. residence rights, but U.S. rules bar anyone who obtained the passport through an investment program from every compact privilege. Ireland and the United Kingdom share mutual residence and working rights through the Common Travel Area, which survived Brexit. Irish citizenship comes with UK settlement rights that no other EU member passport has. And a caution, because readers conflate this consistently, Schengen is not a settlement bloc. The Schengen area drops internal border checks and permits short-stay movement, but the right to reside in another Schengen country comes from EU freedom of movement, a separate legal basis. A residence card from one member state buys you 90 in 180 travel across the zone, not the right to settle next door. So if you're not about to acquire a block citizenship, how do you earn the right to reside somewhere? The answer is a residence permit. Independent means visas are the most overlooked. At least 40 countries grant residence to anyone who can prove a stable income, often roughly $1,000 to $5,000 a month, with no capital at risk. Golden visas exist for those who qualify through capital and don't want to relocate permanently, though the category is narrowing. Spain closed its program in April 2025, as did Luxembourg and Ireland. Digital nomad visas suit remote workers but come with a ceiling. Most last 1 to 2 years or offer no route to permanent residence. Ancestry is the cheapest path where it applies. Descent-based citizenship in Ireland, Poland and other member states can deliver an EU passport and with it a full set of block settlement rights for the cost of gathering documents. Where none of these fit, the traditional route is open. Reside long enough on a permit to naturalize in a country, then take settlement rights that come with citizenship. So, what does this mean for you? Separate 2 questions you may have been treating as one. Where you can go concerns your passport's visa-free reach. Where you can reside concerns residence and citizenship, a second home, a business base, a tax plan, or an exit if your country turns unstable. A passport's ranking answers the first question and nothing more. The second takes a residence permit or the right second citizenship acquired on purpose, not assumed. Now, if the ancestry route caught your attention, you should know it's not the only way to get Europe's most powerful settlement rights without spending capital. We made a video on 4 other ways to get an EU passport without paying a cent, and that's the video on your screen now. Subscribe if you want more updates on investment migration programs and news delivered directly to you.